Hey there, I just want to raise an interesting topic. I was watching this TV program on longevity, I think it was last night, on iView, and the segment specifically was on the placebo effect. And I've always tried to pay particular attention to how I language things with my patients because of the understanding of the power of the mind. So, for example, if I'm going to give an injection, I'm not going to say this is going to hurt. I'm going to say, look, this might be a little bit uncomfortable just for a second or so, because the language difference is so different. What I see, for example, is women often run with lowish blood pressures. And if you say to a person your blood pressure is low, their mind immediately goes to, I've got a problem. Whereas if you say your blood pressure is a low normal that we find commonly in 50% of women, it's not an issue, it's a fact, but it doesn't then build into it the emotional connotations of low. Anyway, the issue with the placebo, they gave an example of an Australian woman, I think in Melbourne. There's a condition, when you get a crushed fracture of a vertebra, you can inject concrete into it. It's called a vertebroplasty, and that bulges the vertebra back out again and restores it to an anatomical normal. Anyway, they did sham operations with people. So with half the group, they did inject the concrete, the vertebroplasty, and in half the group, they put a nick in the skin, but they didn't inject anything. And they gave a case study of a man that was so impaired with his fractured vertebra and pain. He was from a rural area. He was flown in by helicopter for the procedure. They then followed him, and at the end of 1 or 2 years, or whatever the period was, the doctor and all the patients found out whether they had the sham operation or the real operation. Now, this guy had a sham operation, but he was so good after it. He was helicoptered in for it. He was able to drive himself home after it and believe that he was cured. What's even more fascinating though is that if you give a placebo pill to someone, whether it's an antibiotic or a pain pill or whatever, and you tell them it's a placebo, it still works. And and not only does it work in terms of symptoms, but it works when you do functional MRIs of the brain, because it locks onto the same cells and the same chemicals being involved, which these drugs are supposed to work on, whether it's the actual active drug or whether it's a placebo. And what this seems to be saying is that, and this is why we want to spend an hour and a half with our clients or 2 hours with our clients once a year. And a lot of our clients, we've known each other for those time periods for 20 years now. But what this seems to relate to, according to the researchers, is that if an individual feels that they're in a trusted environment, and if they feel that they are being cared for, that this gives this alleged placebo effect so much more power. And I've always said to people that question why we spend time with our clients, I said we spend time with them because I want to know everything about you in terms of your life and your family and things, because that builds trust and that builds a connection. And therefore, if we are to influence our clients towards more healthy behaviours, having that trust, you're much more likely to do it than with a random stranger that you're expected to meet for the first time and tell them about an issue or problem or a personal problem, and you'll never see them again. I'm talking about the 6-minute GP practice here. So, the belief, and I will often say to people, you are much more fit than you believe you are, powerful than you believe you are, whatever it is. Because I think people need confidence in their bodies, and I think confidence in the practitioner that they're working with. So you can go and check it out. It's on iView. It's a 3-set series of longevity. I haven't watched the other 2 yet, but it was a fascinating subject that rang true for my personal experience as well.